We're live into Facebook. Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Leverage. This is episode 20 for those of you that are counting. If not, welcome to episode 20. But today is a really good one. We've been asked by people inside of the Leverage community, which is run by Virtudesk. We've been asked online in other communities. I've been texted. I've been emailed back through my newsletter. Tristan, what is the normal cost for a VA? What does it look like? What does it involve? What's the training? And so today I'm going to go over with Pavel. He's the CEO of Virtudesk, what those costs are. What does it cost for us to hire a VA through a company like Virtudesk? So Pavel, welcome again, dude. You're like my co-host.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
You're like every other one. We're in this together.
I know, right? And we have a big one next week, right? We have a very big one. Those of you who are listening right now, make sure to register for Leverage Summit. It's going to be next week on the 27th, and we're going to have a great lineup of speakers. We're going to have Tom Ferry. We're going to have Robert Slack, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Kerry Schul. We have a lot of nice people there, so tune in. But hey, bro, so going to the cost of what it actually entails to run an operation for virtual assistants. I know like some people have a lot of virtual assistants. I know you have like 17 or something.
Yeah, dude,
some
keep
people
growing.
Yeah, dude. So some people have some people I talk to have like 5 or 10 or 11. Sanit has 11 VAs. So
wow.
And basically hiring a virtual assistant is the fastest way to scale. The reason is because the cost is not as much as to hire somebody in the United States. So as you know, major old Fortune 500 companies, most of them outsource to different countries for the currency arbitrage of it.
Got it.
And for those who don't know what the currency arbitrage is, when let's say I have this pen right here, I can sell you the pen. Just kidding, but. But let's say this pen in the United States, this pen costs $5. Okay, you go to another country, let's say you go to the Philippines, this pen costs 50 cents.
Yep.
So does this mean that this pen is worth less? Does this mean that the pen works somehow worse or differently? No, it's basically the cost of living and the cost of living versus the cost of living in the United States. That's why the things that cost here more cost in other countries less. Same goes for the labor. When somebody's working for you from another country and you pay them less than what you would be paying to somebody in the United States, but for the people in the other country, this amounts represents a very significant salary. So because of the cost of living, that's what's called currency arbitrage. So people, thinking about it, how it's going to look like, what do I have to pay them? Well, let's say your virtual assistant would run you $9 an hour, $10 an hour. You would not hire the same caliber of a person in the United States even for twice that much, like for $20. Now what we have going on, some employers have a hard time attracting talent for obvious reasons. So you have to go way higher than $20 an hour. You have to go 25, $30 an hour to attract somebody in the United States to come work at your company. So that's one of the aspects of it,
That's a good aspect that I don't think people realize, because when we outsource, sometimes we think that, well, it's less expensive. We may be getting less in the things that we hire, meaning they don't work as well. They're not as knowledgeable, right? Yeah. But I think that's when we have to actually really think about this and look at companies like Microsoft, Apple, all the top companies out there. They outsource, they outsource to India and Pakistan and the Philippines.
Yeah.
Right. These are the people that are creating all the software in your phones, in your computer, and the things.
Your phone was built in China.
Yeah. So I think we have to just tweak that a little bit and understand that every country has the ability to work at the same level, right? We just have to think about it differently. And that's why I have I mean, I'm about to hire 19, 18, my 20th VA in the next few weeks. And
There you go.
they're from all over, mainly the Philippines through Virtudesk, obviously. But we also have an in-house staff. Right? I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
hey, don't hire. Pavel's got one too. It's a great balance of both.
Yeah, we have several in-house people here in the Washington area. You know, we have also people in the Philippines running the company. So it's a hybrid approach, you know. But again, you know, but going back to the cost, when you, let's say, hire somebody in the United States, not a lot of people realize that. But let's say you hire somebody, let's just for the sake of the argument, say you're going to hire somebody for $20 an hour to work in your office. Okay. Does this mean that this $20 an hour, that's what you're going to pay? Have you considered the cost of payroll tax? Have you considered the auxiliary cost like benefits, 401k? You know, you have to have the infrastructure. You got to have office space for this person to work from. Or if this person works from home, let's say this person works from home, well, essentially that's basically a VA already. You know, so
Pretty much.
keep that in mind, guys. You know, I've seen a lot of times where agents say, hey, I've grown so much, I love my growth, so now I'm gonna replace my virtual assistant with an in-house person, somebody in the United States working from home. I said, so what's changing? It's like, well, this is gonna be an American person working for me. I say, okay, great. I'm glad that's happening. What's changing in your business?
That's the key. Or
Yeah.
Pavel, or the best one is, well, now I'm going to hire somebody in-house, so that's going to make the biggest difference. I'm like, dude, you still suck at telling people what to do, right? There's no task list, there's no duties, there's no accountability, there's nothing. You're still going to fail, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's important. But look, let's get into what the cost would look like to hire somebody through Virtudesk, right? And it'll give you a great idea as to what the options are. One of the things I love about you guys is that there are part-timers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can hire part-time, I can hire per project, which not a lot of people know, right?
Mhm.
Per project, and I can hire full-time. And then on top of that, I can decide to either hire a general virtual assistant, right? Or more someone that's more of an administrator, an executive.
Like an executive VA, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of differences, and I want to start just with, let's say I decide to hire part-time, because I think that's where most people start, right?
A
Right?
lot of them, yeah. A lot of them started with a part-time, and we've seen a lot of people say, hey, let's say I want to test it out how it's going to work, and they start with a part-time, which they quickly upgrade to a full-time position.
Okay.
And it's actually costs less per hour to hire somebody for full-time than part-time. And we incentivize people to do that. I mean, number one, VA is not going to be working for two different clients to substitute the income. VA is going to be working for you only. So they wouldn't have to adjust to two different people. They would basically be working for you, learning your systems and the way you run your business.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's true, man. That's true. All right. So you have something to show us. Do you want to go into that first, or do we want to go into the pay structure?
well, I can show both. Let me share my screen very quick.
Awesome.
You guys see my screen, right?
Perfect. I do see it. Oh, and this is
Yeah.
on Virtudesk.
Yeah, Virtudesk. So the pay structure, basically right here, the Virtudesk pricing, very transparent, very easy to understand. Depending what you're looking for. If you're looking for admin, it's $9, $10 at $9.10 an hour for a full time. And if it's a part time, it's $10.10. If it's a ISA, you can get it for $10.10 or $11.25.
Nice.
PC $10.50, part time $11.75. Or an EVA, the most popular we have for this, it's called Executive Virtual Assistants.
Mhm.
It's $11.75 per hour for a full time, or $12.75 for a part time. And this is the most popular because you get is pretty much as good as best of the VA as you can get for the price.
Yeah.
So consider that. We also have a time block service, which will get rid of soon, you know, because we do have some demand for it, but it's not as much as we hoped it would be, where people hire per project. But basically what happens, they hire per project based, but under this service, they don't get a dedicated VA. And that's what people need. They need a dedicated VA. But What I wanted to show you guys is a lot of times people ask, how do I make sure that virtual assistant is actually working? How do I make sure that they're not doing something they're not supposed to be doing during the time they're working for me? So we've listened and we've developed this. We've developed Timely. It's a remote employee platform.
Ooh.
So yeah, this is our product. So it allows a time tracking, screenshot capture. It allows some PM functionality, attendance tracking, and I'll show you what it looks like. So,
oh, please, dude, I love this.
Yeah. So this is mine. This is my Timely. I mean, whenever I log in here, like I have this guy Newton working. Let's say he's my developer. He's a coder. You see, he's doing coding.
Nice.
At least I know what he's doing, right? So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but basically I can go to any VA that I have. Let's see, like right now we have 62 VAs that currently logged in that under me. And we see who's on break, who's in. That allows you to see that. We can check the logs. We can check their screenshots. Let's say like Cheryl Lamata's screenshot. I see she was talking to this is Jules.
Nice.
They had a team meeting. I can see that. Same goes for anybody basically. I can check the schedules. I check schedules when they start. I can see this is where I go to see the screenshots. It's loading a little bit, yeah.
Dude, I love the transparency on this.
Yeah, it is a fully transparent. So anytime you hire a virtual assistant from us, you would know what your VA is doing. So that's costed out of itself, because you gotta be able to track your VA. Since this person is not going to be working in-house where you observe. Sometimes you don't know what they're doing in-house when people work, you know.
Very true. Very true.
Other things.
So I have a question here.
Yeah.
When it comes to the pricing, so now you've got the system to make sure that people are doing their things.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to that screen that you were sharing with the pricing, because I think that's where most of the questions come in. Sure. And I have a question on that, and also a clarification for some people.
Sure. There we go.
There's the $9.10. I'm going to look at the hourly for full time. All right, 9,
right.
10, 10, 10, 50. That one.
Mm-hmm.
First, if I was going to do this all over again, and I had 0 VAs, and with the knowledge that I have now, I would skip all of them and go directly to the executive virtual assistant. I wouldn't personally.
Because you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, right? It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and knowing that, I mean, you get a lot more for that. I don't care if it's $12, $13. That's okay. That's number one. Number two is you need to explain here to Pavel, because people don't understand, Pavel, what it looks like when they hire somebody, let's say at $9.10 an hour. They're also not having to deal with everything else that's involved by paying directly to the Philippines, or like you mentioned a little bit earlier, all of the taxes that you have to pay for hiring somebody, or Social Security, all that.
Correct.
So 910 is all it is. There's nothing else. You handle everything else. Can you explain the fact that you're in the United States, and we can typically write this off as our CPA sees fit, but typically as a marketing expense?
As a marketing expenses, because we're an American company. So you can issue us 1099 at the end of the year, and you can 100% completely write it off as a marketing expense. When you hire directly somebody in the Philippines, you run into two situations. Number one, how you pay them. Usually people do PayPal or other ways of paying, or, you know, and another is, how do you write it off at the end of the year so that you actually expense that, whatever you pay to your virtual assistant. Plus, another aspect when you hire somebody from us is we have a dedicated team manager who's actually overseeing the VA, working with your VA and working with you, making sure that they, you know, anything goes wrong, we can get you a replacement quickly, so you don't have to go through search, you know, vetting, interview. Because what do? We do the heavy lifting for you, in the sense of we find those people, we interview them, we vet them, we train them, and most importantly, we actually manage them, so that when they working for you, we are fully involved as well as a company, so we know what's going on. Also,
That's a challenging part really quick, Pavel. And I don't
yeah,
want to interrupt your thought process, but I wanted to pause you there because you're saying you find the talent. And in finding that talent, because I've tried to find talent in the Philippines directly, okay?
yeah,
It's a challenge. I have to go through quite a few interviews to just find people that kind of qualify, right?
yeah,
So in order for somebody to qualify to work for Virtudesk, are there certain hurdles that they have to jump over? How many do you actually
a
take?
lot, a lot of hurdles. Basically, they have to, well, like for example, we received 500 resumes over the weekend from
What?
people.
You
Yeah.
didn't tell me that.
So to go through those resumes, it's a full-time job. We have a cool, we have a 7 people recruiting team that's working full-time,
Hey, dude.
handling that. Yeah. To go through those resumes, to find through those stack of hate and that needle takes a lot of work. Because then you have to interview them. You need to figure out, you need to verify the references, because we do call around, we verify the references of the person. We do verify that we want to make sure we get the integrity right for these people. Um, we call past employers to
Mhm.
verify, to make sure that's true, what they said on the resume. We don't just take it at face value, because again, we want to maintain our higher standing, and we want to pass on to you great candidates. So we do all of that. We do background check. It's a FBI grade background check through the NBI. It's a National Bureau of Investigations in the Philippines. Because we have people who are involved in that, doing that, and once they pass through all of that, all those hurdles, they have to go through training, and they have to have certain systems requirement, that allow them to work for us. We also, as a company, we provide cyber insurance, because not a lot of companies do that. I'm not aware of a single VA company that does that. Especially if you hire somebody directly in the Philippines, and let's say your data is gone, disappears, or if you hire somebody directly and you don't do proper vetting and something happens to your systems. We'll all live in a digital world. We have a cyber insurance for that here in the United States that would actually be able to cover that. Okay, this portion. If you hire somebody directly, I doubt that's going to be the option.
That's very true, man.
Yeah.
That's very true. All right. So with that, what else does a company like Virtudesk offer? The ability for us to be able to just to go through you and make it easy. I mean, the thing that we don't think about often, because agents and business owners don't typically have the time to train, right? Can you go a little bit into that training? Because I think that involves cost, because
Oh
the
yeah.
time that it takes me to train, it's going to be a lot. So tell me about that.
Well, the training, we have a training department. We have trainers both in the Philippines and in the United States. So we have an American staff also training our VAs on TC. Let's say for TC work, we have our in-house TC here in the US that's training the VAs, and she's probably she spent at least a week of training on TC. And this is considering that we do hire people with experience, with relevant experience, not necessarily with experience in real estate, but let's say relevant experience. They'd say they worked at the call center for American Express. Okay, great. This person is great on the phone, but this person never made prospecting calls. But she sounds great on the phone. She knows how to talk to people. She's got the many reasons required for to work with U.S. customers. So this person could be great ISA, for example. Okay. However, she may not know what some of the nuances of real estate, or what the for sale by owner script may look like. So we do that. We not only train them on reading the script. I mean, you can take anybody and dumb them and teach them how to read the script. We actually train them to think and use the script as a roadmap. Okay. Another thing is training people on graphic design, on Canva, for example, or other aspects. It takes a lot of time. We have, for example, for the EVA, for the executive virtual assistant, for this position, it's a 2-week straight training. So they have to go through training it's a paid training. We pay them for that to attend this training. So not only are we spending money on our trainers to do that, but also for the trainees to attend the training, because people need to eat. We realize that, we understand that, and we make sure they're getting paid for that. So it takes a lot. There's a lot of behind the scenes costs that may not be quite obvious to somebody who just hires a VA. When you guys hire a virtual assistant from us, this is it. This is the only number you will see, but you will never see what's behind it, what actually went into bring you this person. And here's what we're talking about here.
Dude, and that's the important piece to it, right?
Oh yeah.
The continual part. If something goes wrong, you look into it. If they don't work out, you let them go. You handle all that, right? And then you're also handling any HR, any sick pay, any vacation,
of course,
any of that.
Right? Yeah, we have part-time. We have paid time off. We have sick leaves. We have medical benefits for them. They have medical insurance. So there's a lot of cost goes into it, and it happens. And I understand when you hire somebody directly, you may get a lower per hour cost for the VA. However, you probably gonna be challenged in other aspects, which you will pay more at the end, by actually investing in the training, investing in monitoring, because you do have to monitor. You need to invest in your time to train and to actually vet these people. Yeah,
that's the key, man.
And if this person goes and disappears, because it happens, you have to start over again.
It happens. Unfortunately, that's why I'm laughing. It
happens, dude. You know that. I know that. You know that. Yeah, you've done it. You've trained so many VEs. You know what's going on.
Sometimes sometimes they don't show up. It's just like your in-house people. Sometimes they show up late, right? Something's wrong. They don't show up at all, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's when, if I have an issue, I just go to Virtudesk and I'm like, hey guys, this happened. Can we look into it, please? And if something is in fact wrong, they'll correct it and they'll give me a great new VA, or I'll have a sit down with the VA and we'll talk it through.
And I'll tell you what, I'm interested. In our contract, we have the clause. If somebody wants to do a payroll transfer, let's say you love your VA so much that you want this VA to work for you only, and you want to do a payroll transfer, let's say basically do buyout of the contract. You can just buy out the contract, like when you buy out the football players from the teams. You can do the same thing with us. You can just do contract buyout. It has been done very rarely, and I'll explain to you why. People who did the buyout ended up coming back to us later on and say, well, this person quit. What do I do now? I said, well, you kind of bought out the contract, that we had with this person, basically. So you are their boss. And we understand when we hire our virtual assistants, when we put them on a contract to work with us, we understand that they can leave at any time. So when you actually try to, you love your VA so much, VA is just amazing, you think it's irreplaceable, this person is irreplaceable, and you go and buy out the contract from us to directly hire this VA, you're basically stepping into our shoes, where this VA is a free person. This person can leave at any time.
I didn't know there was a buyout clause like a sports figure. What is that? Yeah. Talk to me about that buyout clause.
Buyout clause is basically what we do. It's if you would like to buy out the virtual assistant's contract, it's a $10,000 one lump sum payment payable to Virtudesk, and this VA works for you, and you're responsible for this VA's future salary. You can pay them whatever you negotiate with them directly. That's maybe that will be probably lower than we would pay us. That's the major incentive people see. People see, okay, why would I pay Virtudesk $9 if I can negotiate for way lower with the VA directly? I would just buy out the contract that Virtudesk has with this person. Great, perfectly. It's been done before, not many times, but it happened before. And
yeah, that's tough.
And people come back to us and say, this person quit. I said, well, okay, well, they can, because such is life. People do resign from positions. People move on. They don't owe you anything except the time that they've put in, and that you pay them for the time. That's it. So whenever you, if like, whenever you think, okay, I can just buy out the contract, think about this aspect as well. It's another side of the medal that you have to consider.
Nice.
But it doesn't guarantee you anything.
I didn't even know that was possible, but I don't think I'd want to do that. I mean, I have everything already set up with you guys. I was just talking about it with my wife here as we're closing over the weekend. I was like, when we look back, we're like, Virtudesk makes it so much easier, dude.
We're in business, man.
And I'm telling you,
it's being taken care of.
I'm telling you, because I have the experience of VAs.
Oh, I know.
Hiring direct and hiring with you. Hiring with you is so much easier. So thank you for making my life a little easier on that aspect.
Of course. Happy to do that. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, anything else you want to add, man? Because I think the most important part was covered. The cost, what you're saving, what that looks like as a whole. Makes sense to me. But
what you're saving per year, let's say, compared to, let's say, if you hire somebody in-house, and let's take, for example, very conservative approach is $20 an hour that you would pay somebody in the United States to work in-house, and that's we've done some cost analysis. You're probably saving about $60,000 per year when you hire somebody through Virtudesk.
Dude, that's a ton.
Same person, yeah. So, but because not only you're paying $20 an hour, you're paying the other side that you don't see, which is the payroll tax. You're paying the benefits. Because good luck to hire somebody without offering the benefits right now in this job market.
So true.
This is like like they have a seller's market and buyer's market. Right now, it's employees market, not the employer's market. So a lot of people are getting way more money than from elsewhere than actually working.
Very true, man.
And I don't say just only about unemployment. A lot of people do other stuff. A lot of people invest in crypto or whatever other stuff they're doing. So, yeah.
And look, any questions that you guys have, both inside of the Facebook community or inside this webinar, if you're watching it on YouTube after, let us know. Drop it in the chat. We'll be happy to answer it. We're always monitoring it. And or one of our VAs is monitoring it, and then
somebody is monitoring for sure. You'll get a response guaranteed.
They'll let us know, and then we'll let them know what to say, or we'll be the ones that respond.
Yeah,
one of the two. Pavel, thanks for doing this, buddy.
Thank you, Tristan.
Thanks,
everybody. You have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.